There's just a little hiccup there. So Starship SN10, this is your shot.
This is your shot.
This is your shot.
Going for the big papa with the big mappa, baby. Come on.
For engine ignition. And we have a... There we go.
Oh, it's so cool. All right.
This thing's so... We'll watch the rest of this later.
Okay, ready?
Starship.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to this video. Today we're just going to talk about a little bit of space stuff. We're going to complain about the Russians, talk about some... Thank you for that. Talk about some spaceships, some space stations, the shuttle, compare the things, and just have a grand old time.
In the spirit of Elon Musk's new Starship just launched. Now, it made a successful flight, but these days, any asshole could rub two brain cells together and launch a rocket. It's a bit of an understatement because we're kind of stupid. Yeah, but it's all about landing rockets these days. It's about landing the usable rockets with minor refurbishing in between. And they just did that with Starship. It did catch on fire and it did explode.
It exploded at the end. So it launched.
It launched.
It did the belly flop. It landed almost perfectly. There's a little bit of a fire, a methane leak.
I was so nervous. I'm 3 beers in.
It exploded, but after it completed a successful launch and land. That is so cool.
Was it a failure? No, because everything is measurable and it goes towards progress. Failures included. No, but it wasn't a failure. It landed.
There's also about a billion fucking things that can go wrong in a spaceship.
Well, like, everything has to work. You have one wrong component. Literally, it's an engineering nightmare.
Literally every single tiny component has to work. If one component fails, you're done. It's not a combustion engine. A car engine is like a fucking rock. Like a big rock compared to these things.
Yeah, so in the spirit of spaceships, we're gonna be going through some old school, as they say, spaceships. We're gonna go look at some Soyuz rockets. We're gonna look at the Space Shuttle. And the Soviet Union had a old space station called the Mir, which lasted roughly 7 years, and then it collapsed into the ocean, and now it's ecosystem for fish. Yeah. This is the Mir space station. You know what the funny? I always looked at the Russians when they create space shuttles and space stations. It's like they were throwing stuff. It's like Gorilla Tape. Fucking Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape and 2x4s. Yeah. I think even Chris Hadfield said something akin to this. But they're reliable as fuck, he said.
Have you seen Space Station Mir? You go look at pictures of this fucking thing. We'll put it up on the screen. It is tiny. It's like they made it for the smallest of Chinese people. It's not racist, because Chinese people are small. Typically. Yeah. But this thing is so small and it's so cluttered and it looks like it's just put together with like duct tape and like zip ties.
It's all very much low tech, but I have a soft spot for it. It's not the International Space Station by no means. It's very much smaller. But like I said, it's like the Soviet Union, it's like the Russians threw everything together with duct tape and a bunch of 2x4s. And it's like a bunch of scrap metal with some Gorilla Glue. And for some reason, it all works.
It all worked. It did work for a while. Chris Hadfield went there. And funny story, you can find this on YouTube. Chris Hadfield talks about how he almost died on Space Station Mir. For when he was there, and there was a hole in the fucking thing, and it was losing oxygen.
Chris Hadfield is, can I just say something? Yeah. Chris Hadfield is like everyone's space dad.
He is.
He has a mustache, and if he was on Earth, he's gonna be wearing those white shoes. He's gonna be cooking up some weenies or whatever, and he's gonna say stuff like, "Hey there, Chief."
Hey there, Chief.
How you doing, Chief?
Hey there, bud. Let's go throw the ball.
Hey there, bud.
But he's so cool. I love him. I saw him live. What a swell guy.
He's everyone's space dad.
He's Canadian. Super nice.
But you know what I do like? I gotta give the Soviet Union credit where it's due, because they did land a space probe on Venus. And Venus is chokingly thick with it's just pure carbon dioxide. No, it's acid rain. It's just acid rain. Sulfuric acid. And they landed, I think it was called, what was it called? Vienna? Am I saying it correctly?
Verna? I don't know.
Vienna.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
But they landed this space probe on Venus's surface. It lasted 20 minutes and it burned up and it transmitted some useful data back to Earth. Now, of course, this is when the space race was happening and they weren't sharing information at the time, so no one knew this happened for a long time. Now we do know. But I just want to say, it is quite the achievement. It lasted 20 minutes though, but we do have one photo of what Venus is like, and it is basically a living hell. It's funny. Everyone's coming to me, believers like Christians, and they're telling me about hell and stuff like that. You know what? We have a real life hell, and it's next door to Earth.
It's Venus. Look at this fucking thing.
Satan himself would run away.
It looks like radiation, like the color of radiation.
It's chokingly thick.
Yeah.
It's sulfuric acid.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
It's you know what?
Imagine waking up on Venus. How long would you last?
Well, you can cook eggs. You know what?
Yeah. You'd probably pass out in 7 seconds.
It's too much of a greenhouse effect. It's too much CO2.
Yeah.
In Earth, the problem is that could happen to Earth one time. One day it could happen to Earth, but it's just very thick, and it's too much of a greenhouse effect. But it's still quite the achievement.
So the Soviets did that.
The Soviets did that, and they hid their data.
Damn.
But
so what else have the Soviets done? Let's look at
the Russian
Soyuz.
What did Chris Hadfield say about this?
Oh, fucking ride in hell, man. Chris Hadfield has a lot of good information, a lot of good stuff. You could listen to him for hours.
It's like
a good storytelling voice. Look at this.
Look at this module.
Have you ever looked inside a Soyuz? It's cramped, obviously. I mean, they want to save space, but look at the new SpaceX stuff they used to get to the ISS.
Well, it's
not as cramped.
Well, in SpaceX, it's all reusable rocket technology with almost zero refurbishing. Well, you still have to refurbish the rocket after every initial launch, right? But it's
but
very
you don't
little.
have to build a brand new one every
Not from
single
the ground
time.
up.
Nothing goes to waste. Like the Soyuz, the middle module there is the only thing that comes back to Earth when they come back. Then you ride down on this big steel rock in a parachute and you fucking slam into the ocean. And then you get rescued.
Well, everyone had to rely on the reliability. I say that lightly though, because everything is held together with duct tape.
Why?
Edit that out. Everything's held together with duct tape. And now, it's funny, even 8 years ago, we still had to rely on the Soyuz rockets, but now we have SpaceX now. Yeah. With, you have the Falcon, you have the Falcon Heavy, and then we have the beautiful Starship, which we did watch explode about 20 minutes ago, but the beautiful Starship. It is magnificent. It's in the prototype stage right now, but this will be the Starship that will take humans to Mars.
How many people can it fit? Like 30?
In 2023, a Japanese billionaire purchased all the seats on a Starship, and it's going to make a trip around the moon. He wants to take about 7 people. Eventually, they want to do 100 people.
Holy shit.
They want to send fleets to the Red Planet. Fleets
so cool.
of Starship. We're actually in it. We've been talking about this for a long time, and we're actually in it now.
We're doing it now.
When I was a kid, I'm like, why aren't we on Mars? Why aren't we colonizing Mars? And I get it. Mars is a barren wasteland. It is like Antarctica, and it is like on Mount Everest. It's terrible, but it's way colder.
This is what Mars is like. You have lung disease, and you're at the top of Mount Everest with nothing. That's Mars.
But you know what? Mars is forever. We have to do it.
Occupy Mars.
Like Carl Sagan once remarked, we have to have a plan B. We have to be a multi-planetary species in case, climate change or a meteor crashes down on Earth, and we don't have an asteroid program, an asteroid defense system. So Carl Sagan was right. We need a plan B.
Yes. Now imagine this. Imagine not doing anything about Mars or the Moon or any other planet, and just sort of bettering the ISS and other spacecraft and not really colonizing any other planet. And then suddenly Earth is destroyed, or something happens to Earth where we have like 4 days before everyone's dead. Well, there goes the human race.
Can I just say something? 65 million years ago, a giant piece of space debris smashed into the Gulf of Mexico. And guess what? The dinosaurs didn't have a space program. Oops. All right.
Wait, so, okay, sitting here editing this video and we're going... I could do this forever.
Now,
I just want to say one thing. We are living in space movies right now. Space TV and space movies where people are flying in space and going to Mars and like on the spaceships, and they have 0G and then they have the artificial gravity.
Yeah.
We're living in those times.
That technology is there.
And we're going to actually tour space. I don't know about our lifetime, maybe. But we'll
It's gonna
actually
happen.
be able to pay for space tours and probably experience real zero-G, like real astronauts, without the lifetime of training.
We'll see with SpaceX, you want to dramatically reduce the cost of taking cargo into lower Earth orbit. Right now, SpaceX can do it under $2 million each launch,
Yeah.
as opposed to the Space Shuttle, $2 billion. Now, speaking of Space Shuttle, you know what? I get it. It is not really built for utility. It is a hunk of junk, but I have a soft spot for the Space Shuttle. It is incredibly dangerous. The Space Shuttle is strapped to thousands of pounds of TNT. It is like taking a gun and holding it down and shooting it and letting it move your hand up. That's how ineffective the Space Shuttle was. It was $2 billion per launch.
It did fail a bunch of times too. People have died.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
Very sad.
But this thing was a returnable vehicle.
I have a soft spot for it though.
So,
It was by no means a reusable rocket. It was strapped onto a rocket, but I have a soft spot for the Space Shuttle. It is iconic.
this thing though, it's like you look at this. Like, go back to that other picture. Like,
Which one?
That,
Okay.
that one there. You
Yeah.
look at it. It's like it's so primitive compared to nowadays. It's literally strapped to a huge rocket that launches, and then that rocket goes, see you later, falls back, and then the Space Shuttle goes to the space station, does its thing, offloads its stuff, then it flies back to Earth.
Well,
Like,
it disconnects
it's so cool.
with the rocket. Again, it explodes over the ocean, and its ecosystem for fish.
Imagine strapping yourself to a rocket, and then having like, you see those like wing videos? People that have wings and they like fly, right?
It's not cost effective though.
Imagine doing that.
But hey, this is not cost effective. It is
No, it is
$2
not.
billion per launch.
That's crazy.
And you destroy your rocket. It's not reusable. In the Space Shuttle, it takes a beating.
It does, yeah.
It's
not forever.
It takes a severe beating. But I have a soft spot for the Space Shuttle. And I think Chris Hadfield, he did 1 on the Space Shuttle and 2 on the Soyuz rockets.
I think he did, yeah.
Did he like the Soyuz better?
I don't know what he liked better, but I remember him describing the Soyuz like a hellish ride. Just loud and bumpy, and you can't see fuck all. Like, there's windows, but you can't be looking out the window. You have to be focusing, right? So you're literally strapped into this thing with rockets right underneath you, firing away, propelling you into space, and you're just hoping that you don't explode.
You know what Chris Hadfield said? He said that on his whole way up to lower Earth orbit, he had a grin on his face and he was smiling, and he said his face hurt.
From smiling.
And the stars look very different today. For here am I floating in
Yeah.
And again, we want to bring that. Well, we're near the end of this video, but we want to bring this point home that what I like about space is you have to allow yourself to get excited about it. Like, this is what I like about Elon Musk. He allows himself, a grown man who's almost 50, he allows himself to get excited about space. There's a video of him where the Falcon was launched into space, and it was a crucial time period because 2 exploded and the third one had to be successful. Otherwise, SpaceX would have been bankrupt. Right. And the look on Elon's face, he was like a 10-year-old boy. And I think that's a good point to take home in this video is you have to allow yourself to get excited by everything great. And kids, see, with kids, right? They're natural born scientists. We put them in public school and we beat them. We beat it out of them.
That's gonna be taken out of context.
Yeah,
we
whatever.
beat them. End of video.
Well, they do beat kids. Yeah. But they come out like drones, soulless and colorless drones, and they want to go into careers like finance and law school.
It's all about current events and politics. It's all kids ever know nowadays. Like, fuck. When I was in school, I was engulfed in space. Every book I ever touched was space, was planets, space. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, do they even have space books in school anymore? Or is it all politics? Is it all current events and Black Lives Matter and this and that?
We made another video about the importance of the case for Mars and landing on Mars and with the Perseverance rover.
Yeah.
And we think on this channel that if we can see a human take his or her first step on the Martian surface, it's going to bring us all together again, and we're going to get excited about space.
Exactly. We're going to unify everyone. Billions of people will be watching their TV, as the first human takes their first step on Mars.
And that person, whoever it may be, is going to be immortalized.
It's going to be greater than the moon landing.
Greater, because the moon, it's not a planet, right? Mars is a planet. Like I said, beauty is temporary, but Mars is forever.
Yeah.
I know I sound...
Occupy Mars.
Occupy Mars. All right,
Put
well...
this on my car. Oh, before we go, I want to mention, go look up Chris Hadfield if you don't know who he is. He's a Canadian astronaut. He was a commander on the space station, went to space a bunch of times, spacewalks. Really cool guy. Iconic for his mustache. And he went blind in space. So go check that out.
Well,
and you can see
the water was going around his eyeballs because there's no gravity.
Yeah, he had like some irritation in his eye and he started to cry.
The water was circulating around his eye socket.
Yeah,
like,
because there's no gravity to pull your tear down, so it just sits there and it clouds your vision. You can't see fuck all.
There's no
But
tears.
he went blind during a spacewalk. Imagine that.
Well, you have to
You're
deal
alone.
You have to
You're
deal
the
with a lot of
only-
unknown contingencies.
You're the only human being in space and you're blind. Imagine how you would feel.
He's a Chad.
Just chat.
Well, thank you for watching this video. We took a different turn. We have new mics.
Yeah.
Do you like the audio? Hello. And instead of politics, we decided to follow another passion, which is space exploration. And if you like this video, let us know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button, and there's a bell. You're gonna want to hit that bell. And if you like space, let us know. If you want us to talk about, I don't know, something boring like Joe Biden or politics, which it's current events, let us know too. But right now, it's a new golden era of space exploration, and we're excited about it. So, thank you.
Couple of recommendations before we go. Lost in Space and Away. 2 shows I really liked on Netflix. Anyway, see you later.
See you later. Ah! That was good! We just rolled through it!